Hello folks, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since my last update. Here's the new tutorial on how to create a vertical jump in 5 simple steps. I came across with some students who can't get the timing right, finding the hands are difficult to pose, and doesn't know how to get the correct timing and right pose and end up it looks stiff and not looking good. Here's the 5 main steps we will be covering in this lesson to create a nice looking generic jump. Step 1. Key poses. Step 2. Body and foot timing. Step 3. In-betweens. Step 4. Details and spline work. Step 5. Key offset for natural look. Now before we start the animation, we are going to prep this body correct. Firstly, we will change the hand control from FK to IK by selecting the green arrow, not Oliver Queen of course, just an icon, for both hands and change the value under the channel box panel to 0. Then you can notice the icon for hand controller changed. And when we select the body curve to move, the arms are stick to the icon and doesn't move together. So we need to turn on the option parent to chest equals to 1. Then you can see the arm follows where the body goes. Next, we need to spend a bit of time to bend the fingers so that they look more natural and in a relaxed state. And after that, we have to create a new shelf above here by clicking the gear icon button and choose new shelf and give it a name. Then I have to select all the controllers with shift to add selection so that you can select all of it. Keep that in mind. Green shows the first time you select. When you select the second object with shift plus clicked, the first object turns white color and you have to continue to select till all is being selected. Then once you're finished, go to Create, choose Sets, and click on the Quick Select Set to add a shortcut button to the shelf you have just created a while ago. So with that Quick Select button, it will make keying a lot easier later. Next, we proceed to Step 1. Setting key poses and get the timing and spacing correct. Stand, squat, up, chicken squat, and stand. Now we're giving him a normal standing pose at frame number 1. We can press 7 to switch to the light mode. It is always good to check the pose in silhouette form and see if it looks interesting and good. Then click on the shortcut key and set a key for it. Next, we proceed to squat pose. Just drag down to pose him and set a key at frame number 10. After that, drag him up in the air and adjust the desirable height where he will jump up to and set a key at frame number 20. Next, give him a chicken squat with both arms open. Even though he looks funny, yeah, we'll tweak it later, no problem. Where he landed on the ground and try to stabilize the body at frame number 30 and set a key. Then lastly, standing pose, which happens at frame number 40. Just give him a nice standing pose you like. After you have done, just do a quick play and see how it looks and make sure it is playing at real time. If it's playing too fast, obviously it is playing at every frame, so you can right click on the timeline and choose this play at real time, okay? And make necessary refinements or fix any obvious problem if you spotted it. For my case, the leg seems to open too wide after landing, so I fixed it. After that, we can call it off for part 1. Let's proceed to step 2. Fix the curve on landing and jumping so it has more impact on it. Apply the bouncing ball concept to it, where the contact point has to be sharp, and adjust the curve when it leaves the ground and before it lands, to make sure the squash and stretch has full impact, and he should straighten the legs before he leaves the ground and before hitting the point when he landed. If you want to know more about the bouncing ball concept and what's the sharp and contact point, refer to this video up here. You can click the brake tangent icon so it won't affect the other part when you adjust the curve handles. And after I adjusted the curve and play, it seemed that the stopping time on the air has taken too long before he falls again. So make necessary tweak so that it looks more natural. At this stage, we need to check it on frame number 12 to make sure he straightened the leg to give the better impact like I mentioned before, so that we feel this character is using the force to push the body up. And we can use the weighted tangents options that allows us to pull the handle longer to extend the leg's pose to the ground. And when he reached to the top, the leg controller is chasing fast up to reach the foot's location, and when it hits it, it gives you that choppy bounce knee that doesn't look good. And you can adjust the speed by pulling the weighted tangents handle. And after you have done with that, move to frame number 28 and adjust so that the leg touches the ground and straighten before he actually compresses and hits the ground. Then I make another adjustment on the chicken squat pose, so there's a bit of offset for both legs and look more natural. And I copy this to paste on the last pose and the first pose so it fixes it so it will be a perfect cycle animation again. And then we are done with step 2. And before we proceed to step 3, I will have to fix the gliding part by flattening the tangents handle. Even the keys on the frame 30 and 40, it's the same, but it will move in between them, and that's normal because of the auto smooth tangent that it will to calculate based on the positions from point to point. Next, step 3. We need to add in necessary in-betweens where you think it is needed to make the overall animation smoother or making more sense. For instance, I'm adding it onto frame number 12 and frame number 28 and tweak the ball joint and toe, rotate control so that he has a better pose. Add in some non-symmetrical pose for arms when he landing so that it looks more natural. So after step 3 is done, we move to step 4. This step is where all the details comes in. Add in details of spine, neck, head, fixed anticipation pose before jump and during landing. And also feel that the animation is a bit too fast. So I select all the keys on all the controllers and then drag it slightly longer, expand it from a total number of 40 frames to 50 frames. And after you drag it, you have to highlight all the keys and right click to snap those keys so that it falls on round numbers, not decimals. And also enhance the flapping hand parts when he lands on the ground, because it is a big impact when he landed and hits the ground. So the flapping timing has to be fast, but not too fast. Have to constantly play and check so that it does not seem over exaggerated. and also tweak the overall curve in some parts where it is flat. As flat, it looks a little bit stiff. And with a curve treatment from point to point, the arm looks slightly better and more natural because motion won't stop out of a sudden. But be careful on that. You should not tweak foot curves on the part where they're meant to stay on the ground, else your foot will go through it. Next, let's move on to step 5. We are almost done. In this step, just offset the animation of certain bones following the hierarchical structure. In our case, I select spine 3, where it is close to the hips, and select all the keys offset by 1 frame, so which makes it delayed by 1 frame. And then followed by spine 2, offset 2 frames, then spine 1, offset 3 frames where it is located at the chest. And after that, select the neck and offset it by 2 frames. After that, I select the head and move it back by 3 frames. Then check if everything still looks good, and you will feel that it looks more natural. And with this overlapping action theory applied. Sometimes after you moved it, the head seems to be completely off the timing, so you got to be careful and constantly checking after you move it. And after offset, sometimes we will keep the offset as the overlapping looks good, but the body or head shakes too much, so we will dive into the curve and reduce the value so that everything is subtle. Rotate around and check while playing after you fix, and try to double check in all angles to make sure it looks perfect on front, side, perspective, and make a final fix before we call it off. And here's vertical jump. I hope this tutorial is being helpful to you and it gives you a clear direction on how to start a jump animation. And I hope you like it. If you think this content is good and hope to see more contents like this in the future, please give a thumbs up and leave some words down in the comment section below and give your support by subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification button so you won't miss any new content in the future. Until then, I will see you next time. Bye!